Got me tripping. Ever since I saw you, I went slipping. Didn't even know you. Couldn't even breathe without you. It's how I'm feeling. All I ever wanted, you I'm digging. It's how you got me started. Couldn't even be without you. I wanna be by your side. That's what I'm trying to say. You got me breathless. Got me breathless.
Alright guys, so we are in our hotel room in Orlando. Jesse has a class this morning, we had one yesterday, and we just got some really exciting news.
So we had been doing this whole mortgage deal for like 2 months now. It's been the longest process. We announced the Naughty Family series, I think in January, and we are just now getting to the point where it's actually going to start happening. So we thought it would be cool to do a video where we kind of broke down the process of going through the mortgage loan, working with the officer, everything we had to submit, so that if you guys are ever in a situation where you were going to be doing a construction loan and building a house or remodeling, you knew what the process looked like.
The process was a lot harder than like your traditional home loan. Like I remember getting my house, like it was pretty straightforward. Here are the steps, here's where you upload these tax documents, this is where you upload this and that, this is where, you know, we check your credit, this is where we go through this whole process so that you can get a home loan, and it was really streamlined. The construction loan was way more difficult than it normally is. Because Jess is a business owner, there was a lot more things that had to go into process. Like it was almost like getting pre-approved for 2 houses.
Well, and they kind of explained it in the way of it's not just a construction loan or a new home purchase. We're buying the home and then we're also borrowing money to do the construction part. So it's almost like they had to approve us for both amounts and then they're rolling it into one. But like Jordan said, since I'm a business owner, they had to do like way more documents than if you were just to do it by yourself.
What's really nice about this process though is that once it's done, we're getting the cost of the house and then also the extra money for the cost of the remodel. And then the way that this whole process works is that's what's called a construction loan. And sometimes people get a construction loan for the full amount of building their house, where we're getting the purchase price and the remodel budget. At the end of the construction job, we will roll the whole entire thing into a traditional home loan. So the process is long. It does take a while. We are excited though because we should be closing on March 4th.
Yeah.
We're buying my grandparents' house. So what's crazy is that on March 4th, once we own the house, we'll actually be able to start tearing walls down. So I think that'll make the channel a lot more exciting.
Yeah, it's funny because we announced this series and we're like, we're doing this, and typically a construction loan or like a mortgage loan is like a 30-day process. Like you get all the paperwork submitted, you work, you close. Not that it's a usually quick process, but this one's been longer than it normally should have been. So we feel bad because we kind of like announced the series and now it's just kind of been slower. But we are going to start tearing down walls. We're going to start picking out the design. We're going to take you guys along on the whole process from start to finish. So we're excited for this because we feel like the channel is going to start picking up now, and the Naughty Home series is going to be like super interesting now that we've actually done the boring stuff.
So guys, make sure that you guys check us out this next coming week. I'm sure that we're going to have a video within the next where we're going to go through the entire house before anything changes. I just want to kind of give a better update on the house, the lanai that's in the backyard. We have a gazebo, we have tons of fruit trees and a big garden.
And the last time you guys saw it was winter, so
Yep.
it was like covered in snow. Now that it's warming up a little bit, maybe we'll do one more tour. We also just wanted to touch really quickly on a little bit of the process of like what it looked like for us to get this loan, because if you're going through this process and you're confused about it, we wanted to help a little bit. So basically we had to work with a mortgage officer and he's been really helpful. We've been working with Mountain America and they've been awesome. They give you a website where you can upload all of your documents, and it's super easy and it's really efficient and it's worked pretty quickly. But since I am a business owner and we did the construction loan and the home purchase, it's just taken a little bit longer. But basically they ask you for your taxes, your W-2s, bank statements, LLCs. I had to submit a lot more since I was a business owner. But when you're in this situation, they'll have you do all of that. Then they do an appraisal, and the appraisal is kind of what freaked us out. And that's when Jordan kind of had like a panic attack.
So I got a little worried because essentially when they're getting this appraisal, they're taking the home, they're trying to guess the home value after your remodel. That's almost impossible. They don't know necessarily all of the things that are going to have to get changed during the remodel. So ultimately, it kind of gave me cold feet because I was scared going into it that the appraisal was a little lower than where I thought it was going to be. But after a little bit of reassurance, I feel pretty good about it, because I think that once we get the home reappraised, once all the construction's loan, I think it'll be a little higher to where we need to be to make sure that we're obviously not upside down before we even move in.
And when they gave us the appraisal back, it compared it to like 4 other homes in our neighborhood that had been remodeled. Some of them had been only half remodeled and the basements weren't done. So they ranged in price from like $600,000 to like over $1 million. And so we have no idea where we're going to land at the end, but they do another appraisal. So then we'll have a better idea. And we talked to my mom, and she's been doing this for years, and she made us feel good about the choices we're making. And she knows the house is going to be beautiful and very custom and worth a lot more than hopefully the appraisal was coming in at. So yeah, we're still continuing on. Now that the appraisal's done, they submitted it to the underwriter. The underwriter approved the loan, but it was a pre-approval. They came back and they needed more conditions. So we then had to go through a process of submitting more things, tweaking a few things. Then that was like a few days ago, we submitted all the conditions. And then yesterday I got an email that said all the conditions have been approved. And now it's at that final ending point where we can close. So we're so excited. We're so anxious. It's kind of felt like, even though we were going through this, we weren't sure if it was going to happen, right? Like,
there were times when I thought this whole thing was going to fall out from underneath us, but it looks like everything's going to work out unless we get another curveball or wrench thrown at us.
But we're going to just document the whole thing. And if that happens, it's real life and you guys are along for the journey. So that means we can start moving into the Ngati home very soon. My mom said it should take about 5 months. So we're excited to show you guys the process. Please let us know in the comments what you would like to see on the channel. Like, are you interested in the design, the demolition, the remodel aspect? What are you guys wanting to see? Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video, and we are hoping that this will be a smooth process from here on out. And we're excited to take you guys along on the journey. All right, guys, so we are about to talk to our mortgage officer. It's been a few months of us going back and forth, getting all the right papers in place and kind of talking to him about the next steps. So we finally have everything submitted, just been waiting a few days, and we are about to talk to him to finally go through it all, answer any questions he has, and then just kind of see where we're at and hopefully move forward. So we're hoping at this point that we will have financing done and wrapped up within the next like 30 days. Stay tuned. We're going to show you guys what a phone call like that looks like.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. This is the existing house that's getting the remodel. Did you guys decide you're going owner builder? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Purchase price is $430,000. You're roughly $250,000 for the cost of the remodels.
Yes.
Right.
And did you guys have a set of plans?
I did put it in the app.
Is it just one page for the plans?
Yeah, it's just the upstairs because the downstairs we're not going to really change anything. We're just going to like put new carpet in.
And then with that as well, we're not doing anything major structural. Like, none of the walls are load bearing.
$1,000 in contingency.
Okay.
And that's 5%. So the only other difference with the owner builder is we'll require that you have a 10% contingency fund.
There is already some contingency built in. We can even send you just an updated, we take off from a few things and then put it into the contingency.
I'm actually going to be sending you guys a different spreadsheet to put this all into that's going to be our form. Since you are doing it as an owner builder, I've got a specific form I want to put it on. I'm hoping it won't be much work for you. It's a little bit simpler format, and then there's a line for the cost that you guys want, and then which bids they're tied to. So I can tie everything to the right bids, and just makes it a little cleaner for us.
Okay.
So I'll have you transfer some of that on there anyway. And if you guys want to rework it a little bit on that one, that's fine. I just have to have the written bids for the big ticket items.
What's the fastest this gets done? Early in March, and they need their 430 to go and purchase their new house.
Yeah, I typically what I'll quote people is from the time I get this cost breakdown, the appraisal, we have this conversation, plan on 4 weeks. So that would get us closing the 4th of March right now. You guys have been pretty quick. I have pretty much everything I need. I'm guessing I'll be faster than that, but I would tell you to plan on 4 weeks from today.
So the other question I had then is there anything we can do on our end? So if you send this over now, we get this to you today.
The biggest wait from this point will probably be the appraisal. The appraisals right now are only they say they quote a week for the standard appraisal, which will be $515. Typically, construction appraisals have been coming back in like 5 days or so, or a little less. If you really want to speed it up, you could pay an extra $150, and they promise a 2 to 3 business day. But that's about the fastest thing that's going to speed things up, other than just me trying to get onto your loan as quick as I can and you guys get stuff back to me. So, we'll just make sure everything's ready. So as soon as the appraisal comes in, we'll send it right to underwriting, and construction loans get priority in underwriting. So things should go pretty quickly. I like to stick to that 4 weeks. Will probably be quicker than that, but one of the other things that for an owner builder, and one of the reasons I'm sticking to the 4 weeks for my promise is just because there's, on an owner builder, it does require one additional underwriting step, which is an exception for my underwriting managers.
Okay.
You're going to get that no problem with your business accounts that you've got here.
Okay.
That's a big thing they look at is just loyalty and kind of assets and stuff like that. So you're going to be just fine, but it is one step for me. So
Okay.
I have another question. So you're not necessarily nervous about, I'm guessing the house is probably worth about 500 and we're getting it for 430. Now, at the end of the day, realistically, I bet we're going to be, so if we're in this 630, you're not necessarily worried about the market value being more than we're spending on the home.
no. And so where you guys are purchasing it with the construction loan, what we're going to do is we'll order the appraisal, and we just want the appraisal to be at least your total costs.
I have no worry
and
about
if it's
that.
above, that's fine. Yeah. So it's going to be. I'm imagining it'll be just fine. But what we do is just if it appraises for higher than what you're buying it for, and your cost to build doesn't matter to us at all. That's fine. That's fantastic. On the off chance that it comes in less than that, right? So we're saying 680-ish total. If it came in like 650. I can only lend you up to 90% of the lower between your cost and the appraised value. So the only time we really care about the appraisal coming in different is if it comes in lower, because you're going to have to bring in a little bit more money. But if it comes in higher, it's fantastic. You guys just have a lot more equity.
What does the market tell us? Is now a good time to lock or do we want to wait?
Well, let me see what we're at really quick here. Okay, for this size of a loan, right now you're at 3.375% for the construction rate. I mean, as far as my construction rates go, this is the lowest they've ever been. So for me personally, I would lock it.
How much time does that give
us to build?
That will give you 12 months to build.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
If you prefer, you can get an 18-month construction loan, but that's at 3.5%, where you guys are just doing the remodel.
Yeah,
I
it'll
imagine
be
the 12
fine.
months
No.
will be fine for you.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
And then with that 3.3%, how long is that locked for? Like,
For the 12 months.
no, that's for the loan. How long can we lock?
So if we lock it, the lock is good for 55 days. So
Okay.
once we lock, we just have to we have to
start.
close on your construction loan within the 55 days. So
Okay.
And then once we roll it into a traditional home loan, at that point, we're going off of those rates. We're not locking in our rate for the 30-year loan now.
possibly. So the way it works is once we lock you into this 3.375%, that'll be the cap rate for your long-term mortgage.
Oh, great.
When you're done,
I'll take that.
When you're done with your home, when you're done with the home, what we do is we look at what the current market rates are. In your situation, we're going to be looking at what the current jumbo market is. It's going to depend on what programs I have available.
We won't be.
Like today, I've got one available that if I was doing a refinance on an existing home, it'd be about 3.125%, and we would modify you down to the 3.125% if that rate's available. for
What happens
long-term
if
financing.
I put down 20%? If we get below the 500,000 mark? So for instance, I'll probably sell my house and have 175,000 cash. If I put down so that we're not a jumbo, how much lower does that bring our rate?
So if you begin the loan with a jumbo, we're only going to go off the jumbo rates, no matter how much you pay it down. So if I originate at anything over $548,000 for the construction loan, everything's going to be based off jumbo.
Okay, so I would have to technically refinance and bring some money to the table to not be jumbo.
Yeah, and then at that time we could look at, what are the rates for a refinance to a conventional, what are the fees, and is that going to be worth the full refinance, or is it worth just staying where you're at?
What is the convention? Can you tell me the conventional interest rate right now?
Based on this credit score, and if you're still, you'd have the 20% at that point probably. Let me see. I'm going to guess you'd be about 2.875%.
Okay, awesome.
We'll look at that, but let's go ahead and lock today.
What's required to lock it?
You just tell me you want to lock and I'll do it. I will send you an email afterwards with the terms that I'll have you respond back with just the word yes. So I've got it in writing too, but if you tell me you're ready to lock, I'll just lock it right now.
Great. And is that when you pull the credit and everything?
Your credit's already been pulled.
Oh,
and
okay.
That credit report was good for 120 days.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I would need to do another credit report.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, we're already good on that, so.
Great. Do you guys have any other questions? All right.
We'll get everything switched
So
to that
just get a
that
single
file,
revenue
and then we'll
cost
also
breakdown.
get everything agreed upon. We'll add the contingency for 24,800. We'll get it back to you, and then if we could just do everything to move the process along. Thanks for watching.
I I get questions all the time about what it's like to work with family and friends. I have a family business. My sisters work for me, my parents work with me, and it's so much fun, but it also can be really hard. Ask them the hard questions and give you guys a little behind the scenes.
We're having a crisis because Pizza Factory's off freaking DoorDash.